this wonderful celebration, 60 years of independence. And the 60 years of independence talk of so much that has done, Ghana did, and Ghana did through its revolutionaries, one of whom was Kwame Ojasefo Kwame Nkrumah. He lives now in memory, but his actions will always live after him. Most of the revolutionary cadres and their organizations had their earlier, shall I say, teachings here. We used to come here, meet in Winneba. But I came here in 1958, a year after independence. And the independence of Ghana, I just came as a venture by a young man, still unmarried, who wanted to know and see and observe the situation in a newly independent African state, which Ghana was. And I learned quite a lot. I had 2 years of teaching in Sekondi Takoradi, St. Mary's College, Catholic. I was on a contract to do 4 years. But when I got home, a nationalist organization there wanted me to go places around the country so I could tell them the Ghana revolutionary experience and what the situation was. The Africans now in absolute control, the British no longer there. Will the Africans manage? I told them the abilities that there were, and of course where these didn't exist. Nkrumah said they would bring them into existence sooner or later. And even in regard to education, he said most of our kids are not educated. We don't have enough schools, but we can't wait for schools to be built. Yet we have to educate them. We will do so under trees. And this is what Nkrumah did. I said this could be done in other countries. We in Zimbabwe also should do it. And so when I told this story of a wonderful Ghana, wonderful people, wonderful leader, and this nationalist organization, the National Democratic Party, was due to hold its Congress, inaugural Congress. They said, we want you to chair. I said, no, I've been just an ordinary teacher. They said, yeah, you know, just come and chair our inaugural Congress. I did so. I said, well, there is our lawyer, Comrade Chitepo. He will be by my side, so you can guide me as the procedural practice, and where I go wrong, he can guide me. So that's how we did the first National Democratic Party Congress. And then they said, we don't want you to go back. I said, but I still have to do another 2 years. I came back on leave. They said, no, you terminate your contract. So I terminated the contract. Well, here I am, a product also of Ghana in the revolutionary and political sense. I learned a lot from Ghana, from Kwame Nkrumah, and I preached Kwame Nkrumahism. I still preach it. I still hold him as our leading revolutionary, one whose teachings were followed by many other revolutionary leaders. Mind you, when meetings were held at Winnipeg, this was before the OAU, but I had seen also Nkrumah try to do his bit to assist some countries, Francophone, which he thought had a revolutionary zeal. De Gaulle, you see, the French had control of the northern part of Africa, and it was under de Gaulle, General de Gaulle decided to grant in quotes independence to Francophone countries. I think that was around 60, 61. And he said, well, you just say yes, and you get your independence. Each country, that is the organizations that led the people in each of these countries, they were challenged by de Gaulle. Say yes and you get your independence. Yes, there were two yeses. Yes, with or in association with France. Yes, out of association with France. Out of association, then you are not with France. The majority said yes, with association, with French association. Only two said no, and they were Mali and Guinea-Conakry. And the French all descended on them like hell. How dare they reject French association? Descended on them, and went into Guinea-Conakry, even the headphones they removed. Oh, you primitive people, you never had these chairs, everything for these to you. Goodness me. And it was, I forget the name now, the leader. He came to Kwame Nkrumah and said, there, look at this. This is what the French have done. Secretary. And Nkrumah said, oh, well, this is what you expect of imperialists. Let's move together. And he said, well, we are not yet rich, but we give you £3 million to just help you. And Mali, the same. In Mali, it was Modibo Keita. So it was these two, Mali and Guinea-Conakry. Then he said, let's form an association or organization of the three of us. And this was about 2-3 years before the meeting in Ethiopia. And they formed their organization. And the children in school were taught to recite Ghana, Guinea, Mali, Ghana, Guinea, Mali. Ghana, Guinea, Mali, Ghana, Guinea, Mali. So that would sink. That they should do the same in Sekou Touré's Guinea-Conakry and Modibo Keita's Mali. But sooner or later, there were organizations that also now started agitating for unity. One was called Monrovia, because they met in Monrovia. Another was called the Casablanca one. The Casablanca was said to be the more militant one, and Nkrumah belonged to that one. Then there was a meeting, of course, in Addis Ababa, 1963. And the two groups now, major groups, met. The Monrovia oriented and Casablanca oriented groups. And these are the ones which formed the OAU. And the OAU, you can rest assured, is the child given birth to by revolutionaries like Kwame Nkrumah. There were others, yes, Sekou Touré and Modibo Keita, and in South Africa, Southern Africa, and there was Nyerere, there was Kaunda, and they had developed there an organization called PAPMECA. We belonged to PAPMECA before Addis Ababa. And later the South Africans said, the ANC said, why should you call it PAPMECA, call it PAPMEXA, so it could include the freedom movement for Pan-African and South African movements. So it was called PAPMEXA by the time we met in Addis Ababa. It was then Mandela, I saw Mandela at Addis Ababa and asked him whether he was going back. He said, yes, I've got to go back and report to the people who have sent me here. But the guy didn't go back. He went to Algeria to train as now a fighter. Well, that's the background. But where are we now? The Ghana that has moved quite paces. A Ghana that has developed its own resources. Natural resources of Ghana, gold. We discovered diamonds along the way, oil especially. You see, we also became independent 1880, much, much later than the first group of trained cadres was only 50. And they didn't go to China. They were not trained in Tanzania. They were trained here in Ghana, 1964. Nkrumah said, give me just 50. And the 50 were sent. They were trained, I don't know now, the actual place where, camp where they were put and where they commenced their training. But they were trained together with Chinese instructors and trained by Chinese, a combination of Chinese and Ghanaian instructors. They came back, and some of them are the ones who killed the first wife, Manandanga. Yeah. So that's how it was. But eventually, of course, we had a much larger camps when the Liberation Committee was established in Tanzania after the formation of the OAU in 1963. We all trained cadres in camps in Tanzania. It was thought that Tanzania was perhaps more central than Ghana. But that was a consideration now of OAU. I said, well, where are we now? A number of leaders. I don't know whether the Nkrumah's, shall I say, politics and a revolution is still amongst any of our leaders here. The CPP, which was an example to many other organizations, especially in Southern Africa, is about to suffer its extinction. And it appears there hasn't been a kind of real succession trend to Nkrumahism. Nkrumah might have written books, but when I think of that, I tend to get tears in my eyes. Nkrumah did not deserve that. He had wonderful ideas. The Union of Africa. His view was that Africa must not wait until each African country has consolidated itself. If we do that, we will get countries that will have entrenched themselves in a nationalistic power, which we do not want to get out of. You know, the environment of their nationalism. Let's just do it once and establish the Union of African States. The American way. Others said, no, that wouldn't work. Nyerere we listened to the debate. We were not free then. We were still liberation movements. We had an observer status and all. Nyerere's argument, he was leading the other side. But both of them agreeing that eventually we must have Union of African States. But Nyerere's view was, no, we can't do it that way. We are not ready. Let's do it, I'll quote these words, like a mason proceeds when he is building a house. It's brick by brick, brick by brick. That's Nyerere. So the Nkrumah and Nyerere differed on that one. But they agreed on the objective that Africa must, sooner or later, have the Union of African States. But alas, today we are truly entrenched in our own nationalisms, each and every African country. And alas, some of us are back to the yoke of colonialism. They call it neo-colonialism. We can't do much by way of our individual actions unless we report to capitals like France, United States, etc. I don't know whether Ghana is as free as Nkrumah wanted us to be. But I say, down with imperialism and neo-colonialism. The natural resources, whether it be gold, diamond, oil, it belong to Africa. In some countries, it's written that all oil underground belongs to France. Shall we have another Nkrumah? Will Ghana give us another Nkrumah? I was impressed, very highly impressed yesterday by the speech made by the president. I'm sure you all were. You know the history. Even what happened as Nkrumah went to college, to school, whether it was in London or America, the revolutionary friends and organizations that he joined and which he made him what he was. It was all recited yesterday. And I wondered, I said to myself, do the Ghanaians still remember all this? Do the Ghanaians still love Nkrumah? Why did they send him into exile? Anyway, at the point of his birth, they wanted the body back, at least. They wanted him back, so he could finally rest in the country which he had helped to create initially. I said yesterday to the president, wonderful, 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 wonderful speech. Please gave me a copy of it. And when I had just a few minutes with him, I said, well, let's have now strong bilateral talks. You have gold, we have gold. The gold belongs to you, it doesn't belong to France or to the British. We know that. Our gold belongs to us, it doesn't belong to anyone else. You have diamonds, we have diamonds. You have oil, we don't have oil. Agriculturally, you have cocoa, we don't have it. You grow tobacco, you don't grow it, fine. We have trained lots of our young people as engineers, civil engineers, electrical engineers, mining engineers, metallurgists at the university. We have done so at our university. Some are working, alas. Countries like Australia, Britain, and if not in Ghana, Zimbabwe. Yes, they say they remit some money. Well, their remittances are not as good as their givenness to working for their people. But some will come back. I hope those of Ghana will come back having built some fortune. The few who have come back from America to Zimbabwe seems to have to be as empty-pocketed as they went to America, and we have to try and give them jobs, but we say they are our people. You can't throw them away. We need strong bilateral relations between the two countries. And what example of building strong relations was there, than that demonstrated by Robert Mugabe and Sally Hayford when they decided to get married. I got married to Sally. She went to Achimota. When that decision was made, after the plea that I should terminate my contract, I bought myself a nice, gentle, bachelor's car, Opel Record, just two-door, as blue as the sky, a bachelor's color. And I said, Sally, bring my car. So she brought it. And when she came, it was the National Democratic Party. As I told you, I had been asked to chair it. And we now were building branches and wings of that party. But Ghana had build youth and women's groups. And we said, Sally, you organize women and start women's league. So she did. So she is the one who, together with other women, started the Women's League Ghana style. And we still have the Women's League Ghana cum Zimbabwean style now. Sally is no more for ladies. Her kidneys failed her. Failed her when I was in prison, and she was in London. I said, no, go to London, you do some course. When she came out, she came back, and we were released. The kidneys were just functioning very poorly. And the doctors gave her time that they would cease to function after 4 or 5 years. And after those 5 years, you would have to go on machine, dialysis. This is what happened actually. She was on dialysis, but the doctors say the machines are not like your natural kidneys. They can only help you to extend your life for not more than 10 years. 10 years is the maximum. And she lived on the machine 10 years. Dialysis. 4 hours, 3 times a week. You are on the machine lying, and the machine goes slowly, like the heart and the circulatory system to be in accord with the speed that is generated by the heart when it causes circulation. But she was a strong woman. She would get up and we have a program, we have children's program, women's program, this way, that way, and so on. Our nation recognized her. She lies at a place where we lay to rest our heroes. We call it the National Heroes Epa. She lies there as the national hero. So Ghana has given us that woman, wonderful woman. Give us some more. You have made Nkrumah live. Not, well, I said, yes, I said, in relation to him personally, I said many more courses. To him, I said, yes, here is the man I could relate to.
So my question then is what
I could relate to. But later I said, thank you for making Nkrumah live. That speech. That speech goes quite deep, deep in history. The history Nkrumah used to tell us of his makings. And then reference to Nkrumah. Those quotes which every revolutionary in our part of the country, makes the Nkrumah. Ghana shall not regard itself as independent unless the whole of Africa is independent. Yeah. And he was reading a speech, and this came as reference to Nkrumah. But you don't refer to Nkrumah if you don't believe to him. If you don't believe in him. So I said, you made a wonderful speech. And I said that I think I could relate to him. I don't think I have found, well, I'm now 93. I have been myself in an environment of hard nationalists, those who have made me Nyerere, Samora Machel, NATO, and is a God. This is a God. When I look at the AU as it is, we all, yes, we want our countries to get developed and to really get developed. But we do not distinguish development that yields benefit, absolute benefit to our people. Distinguish that from development that on the face of it might seem to be benefit to our people, employment and so on. But the natural resources then are in the hands of the very people from whom we thought we wrenched them. They have come back and said, we will help you to develop. And we have said, yes, yes. We will help you to create employment. Yes, yes. Investment, well and good. But investment with what effect? They will not just say they are mining our mines. They will say they are mining their mines, whether it's Anglo-America or De Beers. They are diamond mines. It's our soil. When they dig and make those big holes, they are made in our country. And when the diamonds are gone and they go back to Britain or to France or to America, they leave us with gaping holes, and we have to cover the holes. We have said no when we negotiated with the British. 1979, it was Margaret Thatcher said we must have the land must come to our people. So the land belongs to us. Sure, we may grow partners with investors, but we tell them, sir, the land is ours. I think it's that awareness, that awareness. Look at their own situations, whether Germany, Italy, France, they will not want occupation. And they will not want occupation. You may get this little thing here, little thing there. But France is France. Germany is Germany. And Ghana must be Ghana. Zimbabwe must be Zimbabwe. And when we meet and we play soccer, you beat us or we beat you, well, we know. We are brothers. We are playing a game against each other. So, but we remain brothers. I'll come for food here. I'm carrying some yam, I think, and cassava and plantain. Even I have taught my present wife also to like food. I'm ready to pound it.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yes. Okay. My name is Nanesi. I work with the radio station Oman FM. As you speak, I see a lot of rich experience and great memories in you. I just want to ask, what has been the secret of your long-term service as an African leader? Of your long-term service as a president?
Oh, well, I've not imposed myself upon my people. Elections freely. The other parties, we don't oppress any party. And it's the fact that they see in our party, you know, that gourmet principles, those principles which we developed from Kuruma, you work for the people. The resources are there not for individuals, no, but for your own people. Not, you don't say leaders cannot have, interests here and there. But when you're working for government, you must demonstrate truly that you are for the people. You must demonstrate truly that you care for their needs, for their demands. Their children, we have had children going to school, and we have the highest record of literacy in Africa, over 92%. And we want our people to be the owners of the resource, of the yield from the resources. They are already owners of the land, but we must now use the skills. They may not have those skills, but bring those skills and let them be used in combinations which are more productive, whether it's in mining or it's in agriculture. Recently, we adopted what we call the command agriculture, where government has come together with farmers who, because of drought, we said we start with farmers around water points, food reserves, various dams in the country, and put them together. Rain or no rain, we will definitely cause much better yields than before. And true. And it so happened that this year, well, we have had more rain, and then we had last year actually lots of floods. And the prospects are very good agriculturally. So it is that all those respects. You must not think of empowering yourself as leader, of getting the richness out of the diamonds or the gold that is in the ground. It belongs to the people. You are a worker of and for the nation. The nation will reward you. And it is just that. I am one with the people, part of the people. You don't divorce yourself from the people because you have been to Oxford or London or Yale. You think you have now a life. No. You are one of the many, and the many haven't been to Oxford. So you should share their worry, share their, shall I say, the situations, whether these are happy situations or misfortunes. Good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ghanaian. Thanks.